All right, we're going to get started. We're so glad you're here. We're excited to talk about one of our newer features to our digital giving solution in our pledge drives. Again, if you are just joining us, welcome. Go ahead and find that Q&A button. And so that you can ask questions throughout the webinar. We have a team ready to assist you and answer those as they come up, but also drop into the chat. Let us know where you're joining from. We would love to say hello. So to kick us off, we've got a lot of great content today that we want to cover to hopefully help and assist you guys in your ministry efforts. So I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kristen Foster. So I am in the Client Success Division here at Ministry Brands. And so I really love what I get to do, getting to partner with ministries to help you see your ministry goals realized. And so we hope this tool that we're going to discuss today will also be really helpful for you. So I'm going to throw it to Erika, who's also here with me today, who's going to introduce herself as well.
Yeah, my name is Erika Fain. I also work in client success. I have been working at Ministry Brands for a year, and this past year has taught me a lot about the benefits of online giving and how it can be beneficial to an organization. And so we are so excited to walk you through this new feature, and Kristen is going to go over our agenda for the day.
Yeah, so we're going to cover a couple of things about, what exactly is pledging? Why is pledging important? How can you utilize pledging with your digital giving solution here at Ministry Brands? And then what's next? What are we going to do with this information? Now, a couple of things that we do want to point out is as a Ministry Brands customer, you might already be using one of our church management solutions to help organize your people and groups. And so there's also a pledging feature within that platform as well. We want to let you know that the feature we're discussing today does not replace that. This is if you're not using that or if you'd like to use it for other things. So this is going to be a pledge feature within your digital giving platform that we're going to discuss today. So just a little clarification there. Don't want to cause any confusion. But as we kind of get started, I'm going to let Erika kind of talk to us about what exactly is pledging. Let's get some clarification on that first.
Yeah, so what is pledging and how does it differ from general giving? General giving and pledging are two different approaches to contributing financially to support an organization. General giving is typically done through regular offerings, tithes, donations, and the amount given may vary from person to person and from week to week. Whereas pledging, on the other hand, involves making a commitment to contribute a specific amount of money over a specific period of time. So when someone participates in a pledge or a pledge drive, they usually indicate the amount they intend to give over the course of the pledge, and then they'll choose a frequency that the money will be given at until the specified amount is reached. So this frequency can be annually, quarterly, monthly, or we even offer options such as bi-weekly, weekly, whatever suits your donor best. So as an overview, pledging is committing an amount of money to either a one-time initiative or a long-term campaign. And Kristen can tell you more about how pledging would positively impact your ministry goals.
Yeah, so why is pledging important? So I love this quote from churchleadership.com. It says, effective stewardship ministry is never about the church's need to receive money. It is always about the giver's need to give. And so when we talk about the benefits of pledging, that kind of comes into play here as well, because one of the first benefits that I kind of want to talk about is that this pledging can help create and foster consistent and faithful givers. It helps to make stewardship a critical part of your ministry culture because, like that quote just mentioned, it's not just about the ministry's need for people to give. It's also about us as givers, our hearts, and becoming cheerful givers in certain seasons, especially when it comes to particular campaigns and goals that your ministry might be working toward, which leads me to my second point. One of the other benefits of pledging is it creates excitement around working toward a goal together. So let's say, for example, you have a building fund that you're working toward, and when that goal is finally realized, due to the faithful and consistent generosity of your folks, that is something worth celebrating. It's something that creates excitement around what you're doing in the life of your ministry. And so that's really great for morale. And it also is just great to celebrate together and see what God is doing in the lives of your ministries. But it also, on a practical note, pledging also helps you to budget more accurately as well. And so, having a better sense of where you're going to be at financially for a one-time campaign or for annual giving as a whole, it allows you to be a little bit more strategic and impactful in your ministry. If you kind of know what's coming down the pike, know what you're working with, so that you can utilize your resources to the best of your ability. So those are just a few examples of the benefits of pledging and how it can impact your ministry. So I am going to toss it back to Erika. She's going to kind of show us how to utilize pledging within your digital giving solution. So I'm going to let her take it away.
Yes, so let's get into how to utilize it on your account. So the first step is creating a fund for your campaign. Just as a refresher, a fund is basically a designation for what efforts your donations are going towards. So to create a pledge campaign fund, we're going to head to our fund management tab located in the menu bar on the left-hand side of your screen. And here you'll see all your organization's active funds. In the upper right-hand corner, there's an add button. Before, when you click this button, you would only see add a new fund, but now with this new update, you'll see a pledge drive option added onto the dropdown. But we're still going to begin by clicking add and selecting fund for now. So let's start by talking about this parent fund dropdown at the top. You may have a fund designation that encompasses several other funds. This primary fund is called a parent fund, and the funds grouped under it are called subfunds. So for example, your church sends missionaries across the globe. You can create a parent fund, called missionaries, and then subfunds for each individual missionary. To create a subfund, we would select a parent fund from the dropdown, but we want to create a standalone parent fund for our pledge drive. To do that, we'll leave the parent fund dropdown blank. Underneath that, you'll see fund name. This is self-explanatory. We chose to name our fund Stewardship, but you can name yours whatever you would like. Typically, the name of your fund will correspond with the name of the pledge drive or the campaign that you're hosting. But note also that none of the following after the fund name are required for fund creation. So if you only put a fund name, you could click save and your fund would be complete. But there are some options for you, one of them being create a start and end date. If you choose to leave these blank, the fund will be active indefinitely until you go in and make it inactive. You have the option to allow notes for this fund. Checking this box will provide a space for givers to add a memo or a note to their gift, and that note will appear in your transaction history. Below that, you have fund keyword and fund code. A keyword is used to designate text gifts, and a code is used for manual export with a CHMS integration. You have an option to add this fund to the following form. This, for now, can be left blank because I'm going to show you how to create a pledge card in Forms. And then the last two, hide from kiosk and do not sync to CHMS, are regarding an additional feature that if you would love to learn more about it, you can head to our help desk, and there's an abundance of helpful information available to you. Both kiosks and CHMS, which is a church management system, are two of our other products that we would love to give you more information on, but both of these options don't really apply to the Pledges webinar today. So after we fill out all the relevant information, we're going to click Save. And just a note, if you have existing funds, you can create a pledge drive off of those funds. You just need to note that you can only do one pledge per fund. So moving on to the next step, we are going to add our pledge drive. We're staying in our fund management tab, and we're again going to click the add button in the upper right-hand corner. This time, we're selecting the add a pledge drive. Again, we're given multiple customization options for our pledge drive. First, we will name it. Ours is named Stewardship Campaign. Under that, you will see Fund dropdown. Here is where we'll select the fund we just created. Next, we're going to set our goal amount as an organization. So how much in total are we as a ministry trying to raise over this period of time? In our example pledge drive, we are attempting to raise $10,000. Below that, you have three options that you can select from specifying what happens to your fund once your goal amount is reached. Option 1 is to allow the fund to remain active and your goal to be exceeded. Option 2 is to deactivate once the goal is met, but allow any recurring payments to continue. And then the third option is to deactivate the fund and end all recurring payments. This is totally up to you as the admin on how you want to set up your pledge drive. Make sure, though, that the checkbox that says allow pledge cards for your pledge drive is selected, and that will turn blue once it's checked. Then you'll enter your pledge card start and end dates. These are the dates over which you will be running the campaign. Underneath that, you as the admin have the option to select the different frequencies from which your donors can choose from. For example, if you're running an annual giving campaign, you may want to take off the option to give annually. That just means that the donor wouldn't have the option to make the mistake of saying they're going to give X amount of dollars once over the course of the entire year. Lastly, you have three checkboxes at the bottom of your pop-up. One being allow the user to select a custom date range within the pledge card. This just means that you as the admin are giving the donor permission to set their own date range that they would like to give within inside the confines of the date range you just chose when we were inserting the start and end date for our pledge card above. Secondly, you have the option to choose to display the goal on your pledge card. Meaning your donors will be able to see how much of the overall pledge goal has been met and how their donation impacts that goal. And then lastly, you can allow or not allow the donor to set up manual or offline payments. When all those options are filled out the way that you would like them to be, we'll click Save, and we will move on to create our pledge drive card in Forms. So until now, all we've done has been on the back end, meaning that only you as the admin will see any of the changes that we've made thus far. By creating a pledge card, we're now creating a form that your donors will see with all the pledge information that we just previously filled out. So in our Forms tab on the left, we're going to click Create a New Form in the upper right-hand corner. From the list of pre-made forms on the left, we're going to scroll to the bottom, select Pledge Drive, and name our Pledge Drive card. When this is finished, you can start building your form. Once you're inside, you will see four tiny little icons to the right of your form. We are going to click the small gear icon to configure the pledge card. Here in this field properties box, you will be able to select the pledge drive we created earlier. You can add a description if you would like, and you'll want to be sure that the checkbox at the bottom that says validation required is selected. This just means that no one will be able to submit a blank form. It will stop them and have them fill out the missing information. So once you have completed that, you can click Done. And once you do that, you'll notice that all the information that you created on the back end by creating a pledge drive in our fund management appears in this new pledge cards for your donors to see. So this card will allow your donors to put in the amount they wish to donate and see how this donated amount impacts the overall campaign goal. They'll select a start and end date and a frequency in which they would like to give. And then you have the ability to customize it. You can add a header, you can change the colors, and you can learn more on how to do that by visiting our help desk. And the link is there to the left. But lastly, we want to publish and promote our pledge drive. And we offer a QR code, and embed code, and a direct link to do so. So a QR code can be used on any physical advertisements such as letters, posters, or slides. And the embed code can be given to your website admin, and they can use this HTML to have your form appear on a page within your site. So this can be helpful to drive traffic to your website and to keep the donor on a site that they trust. But if you don't have a website, or you're looking to share this form via social media or email, you can use the direct link. That's the third link there, and it will take your donors directly to this new pledge card. So now that we know how to create a pledge card and a pledge drive, Kristen is going to share with us different ways to utilize pledging.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start by just kind of giving you a couple of examples. So I know the biggest example of using pledging is mostly for annual giving, but it can be used for so much more than that. So one example is for building campaigns. You'll see an example of a building campaign pledge card on the screen here. So if you are adding to your fellowship hall, for example, or adding to a building, maybe you're sponsoring the new building for a church plant that you're partnering with, and you want folks to be able to get involved and support that through pledging. You can absolutely do that using the Pledge Drives feature. Another way that you can use this is for missional campaigns. So if you have particular missionaries that you're sponsoring as a ministry, each of those missionaries could have their own pledge drive. And so folks can kind of commit to sponsoring missionaries at a frequency that they choose. They can commit to give over the next year or however long that you set that up for to sponsor those missionaries and give a certain amount. That way folks can know exactly how much people have committed to giving to support them. And so another fun thing to note is that, once somebody has, submitted a pledge card, they can log in and view the information of that pledge card at any time. So they can kind of check and see how they're doing, all of that good stuff based on the goals that they've set for themselves. And if you've checked that box to allow them to see the goal as a whole that you're working toward, they can check on that as well. And then, of course, annual giving. This is a big one. So this is the biggest way probably that you could use the pledge drive function within your digital giving solution to support your ministry. So those are just a couple of different ways, but any initiative, whether it is short-term, long-term, you can absolutely use this feature to support that. It'll help keep you organized, all of that good stuff. It makes it easy for folks to get involved because it is online and super easily to access. Thank you so much for attending. We hope this was helpful. Again, like Erika mentioned, this was recorded, so you can review this at any time to walk through those steps that Erika went through in your own giving platform if you'd like to. Again, those drop-in Q&A sessions, we're going to host six of them. So there's plenty of opportunities for you or your team to attend multiple, even if you need to. We would love to answer your questions, maybe help walk you through the creation of a pledge drive and pledge card. So we are excited to be able to come alongside you in your ministry and support you as best we can. But thank you so much for being here, and we hope to see you real soon in those drop-in Q&A sessions. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
See you guys.